Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Oyster Aero podcast. This is our second podcast. I am Jeff Yergi, founder of Oyster Aero. We are an aviation deal marketplace. We are really lucky to have the rock star legend David Chaimovitz with us today, founder of Cetna. Welcome, David.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah,
you having me. It was an honor to be asked to join your podcast and share my thoughts and opinions on what's going on in the world.
great. Looking forward to it. How's your summer going so far?
It's going great. Chicago's a wonderful place to be in the summer. I actually moved yesterday out of the city after 13 years to the suburbs, which was a lot of carrying boxes around and a lot of work, but it was a good day, and now I'm much closer to the office, so I'm great.
Good deal. That deal looks pretty good for just moving. I guess I'd like to talk to you a little bit just about Cetna and kind of the founding of Cetna. Back when I was at ILS, I remember 2015, 2016, my sales team came and said, "Hey, there's this new company it's called Cetna, and we really need to keep an eye on them." I just kind of want to go back to that time a little bit. Like, what are some of the reasons that you started Cetna? What was the
Mhm.
environment like? That kind of thing.
Sure. So I started in the aviation parts business as a sales assistant on January 2nd, 2013. And I had been an entrepreneur prior to that. I owned a vending machine business. I owned an energy brokerage. I was involved in selling energy efficient light bulbs. And so I'd owned businesses prior, but I hadn't found the right market that really allowed me to, take my entrepreneurial vision to, any type of real scale. Um, so I started as a sales assistant at a parts broker, and it took me 2 or 3 weeks to realize that there was a lack of availability of in stock, ready to go material at a reasonable price. And so we started setting it to really try to fill that gap in the market where we would go out, understand parts on a line by line, part number by part number basis. Who was good at repairing them, who was cost efficient at repairing them, and what they're worth, and where to buy them. And we really built the business on buying packages of as removed material and then proactively managing the supply chain while having the capital to put in stock ready to go material on our shelf. And it's really been a scalable business that's become pretty large at this point. So really, it was all about proactive supply chain management and really understanding components on a part number by part number basis.
Sure. Did you in your research, did you start in on any particular type of airframe or engine model, or was it just what was available out there and let's get going with whatever we can
Yeah,
get?
Yeah, so we really started with, looking for some emergency equipment that we knew had a lot of demand, very low dollar stuff, but really strong demand. And so we started out, buying that stuff and repairing it and having it ready to go in overhaul condition. And then once we had our first couple parts, we would push them out to people and try to sell them. And then we would get back buy lists from, larger companies saying what they needed to buy to maintain their PBH programs. And then we said, okay, well, here's our buy list. If they need it, then everybody else probably needs it too for their aircraft. And we went around and we found out what the market was on every single one of those parts on every single buy list that we pretty much ever saw. And so there's no substitute to hard work and really getting in the weeds and really understanding the nuances of these parts line by line. And that's what we did. And really, that's how we started the company. And we're still doing that today. It's just larger.
Sure. How many employees do you have right now?
As of today, we're just under 240 people.
Wow. Wow. So we're what, 8 years in?
Yeah,
That's
8 years
amazing.
in. This will be our ninth. So 2024 will be our ninth year with a profitable tax return that we're going to file. So we started in the early middle of 2016. We were profitable that year, and this will be the ninth straight year of profitability.
That's amazing. Wow,
Thank you.
David.
Thank you.
Um, I guess if you could think back, what are some of the early hurdles that you had to get through? What are some maybe even setbacks? Basically like where you look back today and you go, I don't even know how I got through that.
Sure. Well, just starting the business, becoming an approved vendor with everybody and an approved supplier with everybody is unbelievably challenging. The amount of time and effort that it took for us to build our brands, letting people know who we were, and then getting approved in everybody's system. We're still doing that today, but really to start, it's very challenging to get into anybody's system, particularly any of the larger companies. They don't just want to approve people, and you have to really advocate for yourself and show these companies why you're going to be a value add supplier or a value add vendor to them. So really, that was a big challenge, just getting set up with everybody, and it took years to do that. Building the data, when you start a company and you start with literally zero data, and there's not a single RFQ in your system, and not a single piece of information, not a single repair average on one line. There's really no substitute to just going to work every day and spending a tremendous amount of time and effort trying to understand what the markets are on these parts. So today we have millions of data points we've put in over the years, but when we started, it was a completely blank system. So that was a pretty remarkable challenge that we overcame just by attrition and over time, really. So, what we've done today, we've built this relatively large, successful company, but it was done one piece of data, one transaction, one new team member, one day of training, one day of work, 1 hour of work, one email at a time. So there's no shortcuts here. It's just daily work compounding over time.
Yeah, you learn so much in the ditches, don't you? It's amazing.
I'm still in there. I'm still in there.
Yeah. So I guess, how do you kind of keep that culture going when there's a couple of you back, 8, 9 years ago, and now you have 200 plus employees? How do you instill that and kind of keep that entrepreneurial spirit rolling?
So that's a great question. And the answer to that is really aligning incentives with the team. And
Yep.
so that's been extremely critical to what we've done. We've really focused on making sure that everybody from our top trading people through our people in operations in the warehouses, that they do have incentives to perform better and to give it their all that they have every day. And by being able to really align incentives, I think it's been pretty tremendous what we've accomplished. I would imagine that we pay more out in commissions and bonuses and salaries than almost anybody else in the industry. And that being said, we probably generate better margins because we really have all of the people here looking to capture every last piece of value that they can in the supply chain. And by aligning incentives intelligently, I sincerely believe that we've been able to do that. So when our guys win, the company wins. When one person wins, everybody wins. And really instilling that mentality throughout the organization has been paramount in terms of getting to where we've gotten to at this point.
That's amazing. Now, I could say when we launched Oyster on April 13th, I think your people were on in like April 14th. I mean, they embrace new technology, they embrace new platforms. It's really, your team really kind of jumped in. So,
I love to hear that, and it doesn't surprise me at all. These people who work at Setna, especially the commercial people, they are aggressive and they are out going after it every single day, and nobody's taking a day off. We've really tried to instill that culture of hard work and winning.
but you all have a lot of fun too. Like, I saw some race weekend stuff going on up there. I see you guys at events. So I mean, you try to create like a lot of activities and a lot of friendships and stuff are formed too, I'm sure. So
We do, and a lot of these things that we do, it's genuine. We're not doing this to try to like bribe the people to
right,
having fun. We do this because we work together every day. We rely on each other every day, and we generally enjoy each other's company. And I really mean that. The people who I work with many of them are some of my best friends in the world, and we've created really meaningful relationships long term. People are always approaching me about, selling the company and private equity and this and that.
sure.
It's like, what am I going to do? Like, sit home all day? I like doing this. I'm with my friends. We're doing exciting things together. And it's not really so much about the money. It's more about building something really, really special and building those relationships, that we can hopefully have for the rest of our lives.
Wow, David, that's really cool. So you started as a stockist and then Setnick's MRO, right?
Yep.
That's sort of
Yep.
next. And then I thought I read with your Aviation Week article that you're considering getting into leasing, right?
Yep. Yeah.
That's
So Yeah, really. So we started out with buying single line items of airframes, then we got into, buying full airframes for part out. Then we got into full aircraft with part out with engines. And then the natural progression was to get into the MRO piece, trying to capture that, vertical integration. And now we're kind of just going up the food chain, and we're taking our, profits that we've earned over the years, and we're reinvesting them into deals that we believe in long term. So we closed recently on our third on lease narrow body aircraft about a couple weeks ago. We have a handful of others under LOI right now, so we expect more. There definitely will be more closings this year, and we hope that we're going to be able to buy hopefully in the range of 10 aircraft per year over time. So it should become a pretty sizable lease company. Obviously, we're not going to become AirCap. We're not going to be the largest
Sure.
aircraft lessor in the world by any means, but we're doing this with our own balance sheet, with our own capital, and we're doing deals that we believe in, that we think we can really harvest value in over the long term. So buy the aircraft, collect the rent payments, take the maintenance reserves, part the aircraft out, part the engines out, send the parts through hopefully our own MROs, and then sell the parts at retail value to our customers, where we're highly integrated into their supply chain. By doing this, we really think we can capture a lot more value than most people are able to, who are in the leasing space.
That is fantastic. I cannot wait to see what's next for you all. I have
Thank you.
one last question for you,
Sure.
and it's a little selfish. So we're trying to think of what to name our Oyster Aero podcast, right? And
Yeah.
I'm down to Oyster Shooters or the Pearl Cast. Do you have any preference on either one of those?
I do. I like the Pearl cast because
Yeah,
I'm guessing you chose Oyster and you're trying to sell packages, because when you open up an
correct.
oyster, it might just be an oyster, but you might have a grain of sand that falls in there, and you might find a pearl.
There you
So
go.
I like the pearl.
Perfect. Thank you. David, it's been great having you. It's been fun to watch you all grow for the last
Thank
eight
you.
years, and we're really looking forward to the rest of your growth story. We're all
Thanks
behind you.
so. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We're doing everything we can to build a great business in the right way, and hopefully we can be a great partner to you guys moving forward.
Great. Thanks, David. Take care.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff. Bye
Bye.
bye.